These people hate the level of discipline you have over your life. See, envy tries to block. Envious people try to block you from getting to your bag, from improving yourself, from living a more peaceful life. See, because people envy the amount of discipline you have over your life, that serves as a guardrail to keep them out, and they can't stand it. When you are a disciplined woman who is trying to be more leveled up, trying to become more focused, you will have envious people who actually cannot stand the level of discipline you have around your life. They will try to clown you and try to make it seem as if how you live and your level of discipline, the fact that it's strict over here, is doing too much. They're going to try to convince you that somehow the level of discipline you have over your life, the fact that you run a tight ship, the fact that you actually pay attention to your life and you don't just let life happen to you, that's going to irritate and frustrate envious people who actually cannot stand the level of discipline you have over your life. When it comes to envy trying to block, when envious, jealous people try to block your amount of self-improvement, the way you're trying to level up, the way you're trying to stay focused, they will typically focus on 4 specific areas. Number 1, when it comes to your money and your finances. See, envious people try to block you from getting to your bag, from focusing on your financial level up, from focusing on your wealth by telling you it's not that serious. See, people who envy and they see you building a great lifestyle for yourself, especially financially, when they see you paying closer attention to money and how you can make more money and how you can manage your money, they will try to convince you that it is not that serious. You can't go out with me. You can't spend this money on that. You can't spend money on this. It's not that big a deal. It's just money. Envious people who envy the amount of discipline you have when it comes to your money, they're always trying to tell you how to spend it. They're always telling you what you should be doing better. And normally it's those people who don't have any or have very little. And I'm not saying that to put people down who don't have great financial resources. I'm saying that there are some people who envy the amount of discipline you have around money, around finances. And because they don't have it, they will help you lose it. So if you tell your friends you don't want to go out tonight, you actually are cooking at home, you don't feel like wasting money on different things they want to do, they're going to try to shame you and clown you because of the level of discipline you have when it comes to not spending money. They're going to try to shame you and say, oh, you're broke. That's why you can't do this. Oh, you must don't have it. Oh, your man must not be working. Oh, this and that. Envious people try to find a way to justify anything that makes them feel irritated about the fact that you're going in the right direction. And you cannot allow them to get you out of your discipline because they're envious of how you're focusing on your finances. So the number one way envious people show their envy towards your discipline is to attack you when it comes to the area of money. They try to shame you and say that you're broke and all these different things, when in actuality, and this is a little bit of a sidebar, we live in a world where acting rich is more admirable than actually having the financial resources. You're a woman that has deep pockets, but you don't carry yourself as such, and envious fake people tend to envy that discipline because they don't understand it. They major in being fake. They major in acting like they have when they don't. Number 1. The number 2 way that envious people envy your discipline is when it comes to the area of your boundaries. You see, if you're the kind of woman that says, okay, I don't speak to people after a certain amount of time, I don't take phone calls after 10 p.m., I don't do certain things, I don't like to go here, I don't like to go to that part of town, please don't text me during these hours. People who envy your discipline, they wish they could be like that because they don't see themselves as important, but you do. And because they don't see themselves as important, because they don't have confidence, because they don't have that self-esteem that says they can set those kind of boundaries, they envy people who do. Let me sip some of my coffee. Because you are a disciplined woman and you really abide by your boundaries, so you don't allow people to shame you out of it, They will try to clown you and shame you and say, oh, what are you, the president? Oh, what are you this? What are you that? You can't take calls after 10 p.m.? Why? That's too much. To a person who envies your discipline, everything you do as far as boundaries, any guardrails you put in place to protect yourself and to keep you on your routine and to keep your peace is going to be seen as doing too much to an envious person. So envious people tend to envy the discipline of people because they don't have it. They let people disrupt them at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning with their gossip and their drama, but you don't do that. You have discipline. You have boundaries in place that says after certain hours, I don't talk on the phone. And I'm just using that as an example. But you could have different boundaries in many different areas of your life. And to an envious person, that's going to be doing too much. These are your people who will not respect your boundaries because remember, envy wants to block. Envy attempts to block. Envious people, you'll tell them that, okay, I don't take calls after 10, leave me a message or text me or something like that. And they will deliberately call you during those hours simply because they don't respect the boundaries. They're trying to block and disrupt the boundaries you put in place for yourself because they're a hater. Because they look at you putting down boundaries and being disciplined as somehow you thinking you're better than them. Envy tries to block. So that's the number 2 way envious people try to block is when it comes to your boundaries. They try to clown you and try to make it seem like it's not a big deal, and it's only because they don't take themselves that seriously. The number 3 way an envious person hates discipline and tries to block you from your discipline is in the area of your peace. So when it comes to protecting your peace, guarding your peace, for women who are truly leveled up, unbothered, and focused on their life, peace is even more important than I would say than money. Some people who envy discipline, envy the discipline of other people, when they see you living a more peaceful life and you deliberately stay away from certain things, stay away from certain people as much as you can, you don't partake in different situations, different conversations, different things you just don't take into your spirit, into your mind. Envious people will hate the level of discipline you have when it comes to protecting your peace. They will not value and or understand the reason why you stop talking to so-and-so so much. They won't understand why you no longer watch certain programs. They won't understand why you don't go to certain places. And because they don't take themselves seriously and because they don't have that level of discipline over their lives, they see everything as no big deal. This is a little bit of a sidebar, but for those women who are truly leveled up, truly disciplined, and truly focused, you protect with a fierce protection your mental, your physical, and your spiritual. So having conversations with people who drain your energy, that's not really something that you just willingly do. It's not that you feel like you're better than other people, but it's the fact that you value your mental capacity and you don't want to set yourself up for anxiety, for depression, or to be mentally overloaded with things that you cannot or don't want to handle. And when people envy the fact that you have that kind of discipline when it comes to not having certain conversations or not speaking with certain people because of how they are, they're going to try to treat you, and you have to get used to this, when people envy your discipline and your boundaries. And sometimes family is good for this because they don't understand how important it is to guard your peace, to guard your mind, to guard your spirit. They envy the level of discipline you have, and they try to shame you for it. They try to make it seem like you're so mean, you're so selfish. Women who are going to level up, please understand and get used to people saying that you are selfish. When you cease to allow people to dump all their problems on you, people are going to call you selfish, even if you are a spiritual woman. When you cease to let people dump all their trauma, dump all their issues, continuously vent to you about the same issues over and over again with no solution in sight, when you stop allowing people to do that to you, people are going to start calling you selfish. Anytime a woman wants to focus on her well-being and have a level of discipline and boundaries around her peace, people are going to call you selfish. It's because people are accustomed to the average woman allowing any and everybody to just overwhelm them and overburden them with things that do not belong to them. And when you say enough, or I'm not really going to talk to her like that, or I don't really care to talk to him that much, or I'm not listening to this program anymore because it's toxic, these people are going to think, okay, you're doing too much. It's not that serious. You take yourself too seriously. You're very selfish. You're self-absorbed. These are all the so-called insults, envious, and or toxic people will throw at you when you no longer allow them to burden you and wear you down with their negativity. So envy tries to block. They will deliberately tell you about different things that you do not want to hear about. And I have had to stop people mid-conversation saying, hey, I really don't talk to them. Unless it's a family member, depending on the situation, I'll listen to whatever's going on. Not that I don't care, but it's like, okay, if I don't engage with this person and they don't engage with me, then you telling me all of their business to me is like trying to get me to hold something that is not meant for me. If they wanted me to know, they would have told me directly. If it was something that was going to be important to me, I would be in contact with that person. And only women who are truly focused and disciplined in their life and trying to preserve their peace will understand what I'm saying. But envious people, they hate the level of discipline you have around your life, and they constantly try to test your limits. They constantly want to see how far they can go and going past your boundaries, going past the things that you said you don't want to talk about, the things you don't want to see. You have some people, they'll know, and this is what envious people do a lot of times, and this goes past discipline. Sometimes this is just when they're trying to test you mentally and they're trying to wear on you mentally. People who are envious and jealous of the level of peace that you have around your life, sometimes they will deliberately bring up hurtful situations, things that they know might be a sore spot for you, and they want to continuously talk about those things over and over and over again. I've had to cut off family members or distance myself from certain family members because they would always bring up hurtful situations, dramatic situations that I went through with other family members randomly. I realized that, even though I have moved past that, it'll be hard to keep moving past certain things when you have people around you who see you living peaceful, who see you doing better, who see things going great for you, and they deliberately want to slam a dagger in your peace because they envy how you're protecting yourself. They envy the fact that you no longer deal with these people. You no longer deal with these situations. You don't even care anymore, like you're done. So they'll keep bringing it up. And in my opinion, based on how I believe that is some kind of spirit, that antagonizing demonic spirit that's trying to just antagonize and provoke and try to lower your countenance, try to get you to be down and depressed when you have worked hard to move past whatever that hurtful situation was. It's a little bit of a sidebar, but I felt like I needed to say it. But envy tries to block. So these people, they hate the level of discipline that you have around your life. So they try to step in to somehow inflict their jealousy and their negativity and try to tell you you're doing too much simply because you have discipline over your life. See, those kind of people, they typically just let life happen to them. They let people do and say what they want. They're easily thrown off of their game, but you're not like that. You're very focused. And the last way envy tries to block your discipline is when it comes to spiritual matters. Now, I have to say this. If you want to repel certain people, start focusing on God. Naturally, the way I see it, God will automatically remove some people from your life when you start focusing on Him more. When you start focusing on God, it's like those toxic people will start to drop off. And it's because the light on the inside of you is going to start irritating their demons. It's going to start making them feel uneasy and uncomfortable. And first, you're going to experience attacks. So how envy tries to block and hate your discipline, when it comes to matters of spirituality and focusing on God, When they start seeing that you're putting God first, that you're focusing on your spirit and being right with God and just living your life in a more pure way, they're going to try to tell you that you're doing too much. Do you have to go to church every day? We got to go. Do you have to pray? Do you have to journal? What are you telling you to meditate? You can't come out because you need to meditate. What do you mean you need to read scripture? For what? That's weird. For what? Bit. They just try to say things and do things to sabotage you from getting close to God. There are some people who are so evil, so demonic, so wicked. They envy the fact that you're trying to be a better person, and you're doing that by getting close to God, and they try to just swoop in and do something to shift your focus so that you're not getting close to God. They want you to be focused on other things. They want you to be focused on any demonic or wicked thing that they can pull into your life. But because you're disciplined in that area, because you understand for you, God comes first. You understand for you that without that relationship with God, you would be just like them. You would allow other people to just have your focus every which way. You would be easily triggered and swayed by other people's opinions. But because you have a level of discipline when it comes to your spirituality and how you are protecting and guarding yourself as a woman, when it comes to matters of your faith, these people are going to try to block you. And I have had people like that in my life who tried to clown me because I wanted to be close to God, because I wanted to keep God first, because I wanted to meditate on those things that are good and lovely and bring a good report and not gossip and focus on everybody else's life. They didn't understand that. And because they didn't understand that level of discipline and focus and wanting to change, they tried to clown it. And God removed them. Thank God. See, sometimes when you get focused enough on the Lord, He'll remove the people. You won't have to do anything. It's just suddenly distance will grow. And then those same envious people who were trying to make things hard for you, those toxic people who were trying to make life difficult and trying to sidetrack you from the things that were important to you, they're not going to be around. And then normally what happens is that you hear that they're suffering or they're going through a tough time. And it's not that you wish those things on people, but when people are envious and jealous and that stuff goes unchecked, they don't want to be well, they just adopt jealousy and envy as their personality type, they will never have any peace. Messing with someone who has a level of discipline and wanting to improve, you're a woman who is focused on her personal development, her self-improvement in every area. You're a woman who's trying to curate a lifestyle of abundance when it comes to just spirituality and financial wealth and everything else. People will not stand that you run a tight ship, that as they say, things are strict over here, meaning you do not deal with any and every foolish thing. And jealous, envious people, they'll hate that. They hate the level of discipline you have over your life. You're not allowing them to come into your presence and talk about any and everything to you. You're not allowing them to tell you what you're doing is stupid. Because you have some people, they're so bold, their audacity is so out there, they'll straight up tell you reading the Bible is dumb. They'll straight up tell you, if you focus on money so much, what do you, worship money? No, you don't. They always want an explanation for everything, but they still don't care because they're jealous. They're envious and they hate when you are a disciplined person. If you're a disciplined woman, strong-minded, focused on God as I see it, that means you can't be easily moved. And that irritates people. That makes them envy you even more because they wish they could do that. And honestly, anybody can when you're not a jealous, envious hater, but they don't understand that. So these people hate the level of discipline you have around your life. Envy tries to block. Your job is to not let them block your blessings, not let them to block. Don't let them block your focus, and don't let them get you sidetracked from the things that are important to you. If you are a disciplined woman, and when I say discipline, I don't mean discipline as in rigid, as in you can't have a good time, you don't just flow with ease, as feminine, divinely feminine, not fake feminine, not performative feminine, but divine, natural nature, character, the way God created you to be, woman, feminine. You understand that while you are free flowy, while you are at ease, while you're relaxed, while you're unbothered, You can't get that way unless you have a level of discipline. And people who are envious of the fact that you just seemingly are flowing through life, they hate that. They see the discipline, they see the focus, and they try to block it. Don't let them. All right? Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, hit the high heel emoji and share the content. Take care.